Welcome to Darling Stadium for tonight's huge contest between the #1 ranked Phoebus Phantoms with a 5-0 record and the Hampton Crabbers, #9 in the state, with a 5-0 record as well, as these two unbeaten teams square off again for what could be ultimately the championship of the Peninsula District. These two teams have met a number of times, obviously. Hampton dominated, won 10 in a row, until Phoebus in the last 3 years have dominated this series, as they've won 3 consecutive games from the Hampton Crabbers, and they've won so very convincingly by a margin of better than 24 points per game. These are not your regular combatants. The Hampton Crabbers in the past have been led by players like Ronald Curry and these other type of players that are so famous. The Hampton Crabbers is a relatively young team, and they've got a quarterback who's coming off of an injury, still hasn't had an opportunity to completely prove himself. But tonight will be a true test, as he will take on the Phoebus Phantom defense, and that is a huge endeavor for anyone. Right now, we're going to go down to the sideline as Bob has head coach Bill D. of the Phoebus Phantoms.
Beautiful night for football. I mean, temperature-wise, not much of a wind, and everybody's ready.
Yeah, well, they're only nice if you win, so well, it's a decent evening. I'll let you know later.
All right. Well, one thing I did want to talk to you about is your offensive line. They do a great job of opening up the holes for Lewis and for your fullback Samuels.
Mm-hmm.
They do a great job. Talk a little bit about them.
Well, we're fortunate to have somebody like Anthony Robinson, right there in the middle, and then those other guys, have really come along. Xavier Little's been on that line, and Matt Wright's a starter from last year, and these other guys, Jeremy Powell, a couple of those guys have really done a good job, and they're just getting better from week to week.
And, and that's what you want them to do. You want them to get better week to week. Now, you and I talked earlier. We talked about your scrimmages and how you always want to pick a tough team for your scrimmages.
Yeah, tough. We scrimmaged some very tough opponents early on. I think it's helped us. I see us now really starting to get better. This time of year you need to get better because it's getting to that time we're going to play some tough football teams.
Well, and you're starting to really go into the meat of the schedule. Talk a little bit about what you expect from Hampton.
Well, they're a well-coached football team. They're going to have a good plan. They're going to try to attack your weaknesses, and on defense, they're going to be very sound, and they're going to try to take away what you do best. And you just got to. It comes down to football. And
you guys are ready.
Yeah, we're ready, and I'm sure they are too. So.
Well, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, good enough. Let's go on back up to Tim.
All right, thank you, Bob, and thank you, head coach Bill D. of the Phoebus Phantoms. 31 victories in a row for these Phoebus Phantoms. They are, of course, the 2-time reigning state champions of Group AAA Division 5. There's a battle for that position. As I said, Hampton is a Division 5 school, as is Phoebus, as is Woodside. And Woodside is just lurking right behind with a 4-0 record on the Peninsula District, so they could as well become a factor before this season is out. But the Phoebus Phantoms, of course, led by Elan Lewis, the premier running back. Young man has over 1,000 yards already, and he is the offense for the Phoebus Phantoms. Right now, let's go back down to the field as head coach Mike Smith of the Hampton Crabbers.
First of all, Mike, congratulations. 5-0. It's always good to get to this point in the season and be undefeated. But now you're going to play some tough teams for the end of the schedule. But tonight is always a battle when you guys play Phoebus. You guys always play a good game together.
Well, we played some good games. We played some games that weren't so good, and I think likewise with them. Last 3 games we played the last 2 years, we haven't played too good. We turned the ball over more times than we kept it.
Right.
And they've had some really good football teams last couple of years, and they've got a fine team this year. So,
well, I know the paper talked about your 2 running backs, Schuler and Fairley, and they tremendous running backs. But you got to have somebody to open up the holes for them, and you've got a real good offensive line that does a good job.
Well, we've had to make some changes there. Our center got his thumb broke last week, and he's not even playing tonight. We've got a 10th grader in there that hadn't started a game, so. That might be have some effect on us, but we do. We've got some good people that's worked hard. Still pretty young inside, and I think they've progressively gotten better as the season's gone along, and we're going to have Block World tonight. We're going to move the football.
But and you've got Roberts is a good passer. He had one the first night he came back. We saw him. His timing was off a little bit, but he's got to be getting better for you passing the ball.
Well, I think Michael's going to continue to improve. He was out for 8 weeks after breaking his leg, and first couple of weeks back, he still was a little sore on him, I think, and he was a little ginger there. But I think this week it's improved. He just got to take his time and find his receivers a little better and protect the ball. He's got to protect the ball tonight.
Well, and that's the key to anything. You got to hang on to the ball. What do you expect from Phoebus tonight? Anything any different?
Well, you usually have a couple little tricks up their sleeve. I really don't expect too much different. I mean, if you've had success they've had in the last 3 years, you don't change horses in the middle of the stream. And I think the thing that's propelled them up to where they're playing at the levels they are at the present time is that they don't give the ball, turn the ball over, and they just don't try to do a lot of things that that would put them in jeopardy of doing that. Right. They protect the ball well and block well, play good defense, change the fronts on you. So you got to be top of your game, recognize what they're in.
Well, listen, good luck to you tonight, Mike.
Thanks,
It's always
Bob.
a pleasure to talk to you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Tim, I'm going to be right up. We're coming up to you. Thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you, Bob. Of course, Mike Smith talking about not holding on to the ball, and that was a big factor. The last 3 contests between these two teams, Hampton committed 13 turnovers to just 4 by the Phoebus Phantoms. So as any fan of football can tell you, you cannot win the ball game if you continue to give the ball up either through interceptions or through fumbles. These two teams have tremendous defenses. Hampton is allowing just 5 points per game 2 points per game coming into this game, while Phoebus is allowing 5 points a game. So it should be a defensive battle, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Let me remind you that tonight's contest is brought to you by Zooms, with 14 convenient Peninsula locations to serve you. By Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. And in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, where Nancy Staten is the director. Man, you are fast.
I'm in good shape. You run up and down these stands a few times, and you get to where you can skip every other step. Wow.
You skipped a lot of steps.
Well, I did that.
I was talking to fans as you were on your way up here. I was talking about the fact that Hampton is allowing just 2 points a game. Phoebus is just allowing 5 points a game, so the final score should be 5-2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but how you going to get? Yeah, I guess you could do.
Or you look at the offensive side, and Phoebus is averaging 56 points a game scoring, while Hampton is averaging 26 points a game scoring. So you've got a tremendous offense for Hampton against a tremendous defense of Phoebus. You got a tremendous running attack for Phoebus. As you look at the officials there, you see Richard Rawls is your referee for tonight. Tim Brame is the umpire. Larry Julian is your linesman. The line judge is Brent Kadish. The back judge is Steve Singleton, and Scott Davis is the field judge.
And we may have a ref cam. If that thing is set up right, we'll be able to see. Well, we don't have it.
We don't have it.
It didn't work.
So but I saw a helicopter go over early. Do we have our copter cam, or I saw a plane? Do we have a plane cam?
Well, let me tell you what I think the keys to the game are tonight, Tim. For either team, first of all, it's going to be the line of scrimmage. Who can control that line of scrimmage is going to dictate what happens. And for Hampton to be successful with their running game, they're going to have to be successful with their passing game. One thing that really stands out above all else to me when I look at these two teams is that Hampton has 7 players going both ways, and Phoebus has 4 going both ways. But the 2 young men that are the runners, Schuler and Fairley, also are the 2 linebackers. So that means it's very possible they're going to get hit on every play or be hitting somebody on every play. So, you wonder about the stamina they have towards the fourth quarter.
As you see on the screen, the Phoebus Phantoms, the visitors for tonight's contest, coming on the field. Hampton has yet to make it back out of the locker room. I take that back. They are, in fact, on the field, but they are in a huddle to the left of our position, down at the other goalposts. But and I started to talk about, as you were working your way up here, Elan Lewis, of course, has just done a tremendous job rushing the ball for Bill Day, over 1,000 yards in just 5 games.
18 TDs.
18 touchdowns.
Oh.
I mean, so if I'm Hampton now, I'm going to say, okay, you've got a young quarterback, this young man, Aaron Ward, who's he's completed 20 out of 31 passes, so he hasn't done poorly by any stretch of the imagination.
And none of those TDs.
Yeah. But see, the running game sets that up. The Phantoms have 365 yards per game on average on the ground. That's not total offense. That's on the ground.
Right.
So if you are Hampton and you can shut down their running game, then very likely you can control the game.
And I think that's also one of the keys. And I think Mike Smith in his interview said another one. We can't turn the ball over. Neither one of these teams can afford to turn the ball over because they're both good teams. But I look at what Lewis has done, and Lewis is real strong. But if you key on Lewis, you have to watch out for Marcus Samuels. Even though he's a blocking back, he's the fullback and he's going to block. You give him the ball and he will pick a lot of yardage up. So you just can't look at one. But now, Tim, let's look at the receivers. There's a good receiver on each team. You've got Nolan.
That's his last name, Nolan.
Yeah. Nolan for the Crabbers and Dustin Johnson for the Phantoms. Both of these two guys are capable of catching the ball and getting open. So what kind of protection will the quarterbacks get? If the running game is working, then your protection should be better. But if you're in a passing situation, it's going to be tough.
Well, and when you look at statistics, and of course statistics are really only good for one thing, and that is just to illustrate successes and failures, but you don't always know. And when you see Phoebus here at 56 points a game on average, I mean, the last 2 games they've scored 69 and 76 points respectively. Or
79 and whatever,
but in some cases unrespectfully. And so you just have an incredibly potent offense here. It's always fun to do these games. In fact, I have a T-shirt that I wear when I'm working in the yard that says "The Game." We got it from last year when Phoebus played Hampton. Well, this is the game again. Bart Dua.
Let's see if we can hear what Richard Rawls has to say.
We have the Hampton captains, Captain Schuler, White, Farley, and Brown. Gentlemen, shake hands. Okay, captains, tonight I'll be using the colors of white and red. If I call from a captain for me, the white or red, come up to me and I'll give you best optional penalty situations. If by chance you do not understand what I've given you as a penalty situation, please ask me to repeat it because I have to take your first choice. Everyone understand that. You gentlemen are the captains of your team. With that comes some additional responsibility. That responsibility is for sportsmanship. Your coaches don't want to see any unsportsmanlike penalties tonight. We don't want to see them either. You guys can help us out by controlling the rest of the players on your team. Everybody understand that? Gentlemen, we had the pregame toss on the sideline a few moments ago. Phoebus, you won the toss and deferred your choices. Let me indicate that to the press box. Phoebus won their toss, deferred your choice in the second half. Hampton, you decided you would receive. You were going to defend the scoreboard end of the field, so I asked that you come around this side. Hampton, you come around this side. Hampton will receive the first half kickoff. Gentlemen, let's have a great game.
All right, thank you, Richard Rawls, a veteran official of the Peninsula District. We talked about this over the many years we've been doing this. The officials get real excited about games like this, too. My good buddy Chuck Boney down from Lake Gaston tells me that when they got these assignments, games like Hampton and Phoebus, and a big contest, they get nervous. They get really hyped about it, and it's a big thing to them.
Well, and it should be. Everyone in the stand is a big thing too tonight. But let me tell you one thing that Phoebus did, Tim. Is they went down to North Carolina in a combine for scrimmage games. The combine was 4 teams, so everybody played another team. And let's go to the Hampton offense real quick.
Sean McNeil, sophomore.
Dominic White, junior. Tim Richardson, sophomore.
Kaval Bronson, senior.
Herbert Broughton, junior.
Charles Robinson, senior. Todd Nolan, junior.
Devin Branch, junior.
Audrey Schuler, senior.
Derek Fairley, senior.
Michael Roberts, senior.
All right, Bob, please continue your thought.
they went down there. There's 3 teams they scrimmaged. 2 of the teams so far are 7-1, and one of them, Independence, is 8-0 and ranked number 5 in the nation.
Wow.
So Bill says this really gives his guys look at not only other teams and how good they are, but what they have to do to get better.
All right, we are underway as the ball is taken at about the 12-yard line. Still on his feet out across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. That was number 9, Todd Nolan, carrying the kickoff return. And now the Phoebus Phantoms on defense.
Cyrus Francis, senior.
Anthony Robinson, senior.
James Hill, senior.
Steve Friday, junior.
Eli Lewis, junior. Matt Wright, sophomore. Travis Kadera, senior.
Stephon Moss, junior.
Lester James, senior.
All right, we're set to go from the 28-yard line. Hampton on offense. And they give the ball off on the ground for the first play. That would be a Derek Fairley, I believe. Let me see if I can pick up the number. Yep,
Yeah, it
Fairley
was
gets the
Fairley,
call
and that's
for a
the
yard.
That's the play that they had in the Daily Press. It's a fake, and you have the right guard, which is number 66 for the Crabbers. No, where is he? 66, Dominic White will pull and trap or block kick the tackle out.
Gain of a yard on the play, second down and about 9. Roberts on play action, looking, has a man downfield, throws, and it's thrown behind the receiver, but it looks like he made a good grab right at the first down marker. That is Andre Schuler coming out of the backfield to make the grab right at the 39-yard line. That will be enough for a first down.
And Roberts is on the sideline, Tim, talking to the coaches, holding his arm, so he might have got hit. He did. Just as he delivered that ball, he took a hit. But it looks like he's okay. He's back in, just getting the play from the coaches.
So a gain of 10 on the pass completion. First down at the Hampton 39-yard line. Just underway from Darling Stadium. This game videotaped on the 17th of October, 2003. Tim Cole and Bob Hintz along with the Channel 46 crew as the handoff goes nowhere this time as Andre Schuler is stacked up for perhaps a short loss on the play.
Yeah, I believe he lost about a half a yard. If you look, the defense just collapsed, and they controlled the line of scrimmage on that play and lost maybe a half a yard. But a great fake on a handoff on the play before by Roberts to find the open Schuler in the flat. And a great grab by Schuler because it was not a ball that was easily caught.
Schuler, rushing the ball this year, has carried 58 times coming into this game for 388 yards. So a loss of a yard, second down and 11. Roberts back, rolling, looking, wants to run with the ball, cuts it inside, has a little yardage to about the 43, maybe the 44-yard line before he's stopped. And that'll bring up a third down and about 6.
And that was a nice run by him.
3rd and 5 to be more exact. Here's the replay. Roberts, I don't think he intended to do anything but run with the ball from the very beginning on that
I don't
play.
think he did either, but Stephen Friday forced him back inside where he got some out, did not let him get outside, and that's the responsibility of that defensive end.
Double wide receivers to the near side out of the I formation. 3rd down and 5 for the Crabbers. Short drop, slant pass over the middle. Had him right in the hands, but he couldn't hold on. That was Joey Minter who had an opportunity, but I got to tell you, that was a hot shot.
It really was. A little bit of adrenaline flying there. Watch this. It's just a real quick, not even a drop back.
He just took one step back, and it was just a quick slant, and had it connected, Minter might still be running.
He was open. There was no doubt about that.
All right, so it's punting time for the Hampton Crabbers. Standing back at the 32-yard line. Deep punt formation. And the ball is kicked away from the receiver. That was back there deep was Lester James, number 4. But he never had a chance to resort. And that's a great kick.
It really is.
Out of bounds at the 11-yard line.
Now we'll get a chance. We'll show the offense for the Phantoms.
That was Corey Johnson.
Aaron Ward, freshman. Eli Lewis, junior.
Stephon Moss, junior.
Lester James, senior.
Dustin Johnson, senior.
Matt Wright, sophomore.
Anthony Robinson, senior.
Xavier Little, senior.
Jeremy Powell, senior.
Garrett Powell, senior.
Thomas Johnson, Jr.
And back to the live action now. The Phantoms offense on the attack for the first time in this ball game, starting from the 11-yard line.
Ball carrier is Marcus Samuel.
Marcus Samuel's got the carry, and the
Dominic
Phantoms
White, Jr.
going without the hump.
Chester Bassett, senior. Montre White, senior.
Tim Richardson, sophomore.
Charles Robinson, senior.
Jezreel Davis, senior.
Audrey Schuler, senior.
Derek Fairley, senior. Raymond Holloway, senior.
Brandon Smith, senior.
Todd Nolan, junior.
Well, in our efforts to show you the starting lineup, we did miss a play, but hopefully we have it on
And that
video
was
replay.
Lewis on a nice run.
Lewis out to the 20-yard line, as you see. He, again, with that great leg strength and that driving ability of his, third down and short. And it would appear enough for a first down out to about the 23-yard line.
And that's
get to the 21.
Tim, that's a very important first down for where you are deep in your own end zone and you do not pick up a first down, then you have to give the other team great field position. So that was a real important first down for the Phantoms.
Wanted to give credit on that previous punt from Corey Johnson, a 45-yard kick out of the 11-yard line. It was a great kick. This is Lewis, and Lewis is out to about the 29-yard line, a pickup of about 5, almost 6.
You watch this, is nice. He picks the little hole, the little area that he can run in, and he does protect the ball, and that's very important in tonight's game. Both teams are going to have to protect the ball.
Haven't had a chance to talk much about the weather, but guess what, folks?
Perfect.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
It is.
Light breeze, comfortable temperatures, not cold, not hot, not humid. Perfect. And I hope you're watching this after having been at the stadium. This is Lewis down the sideline as he is pushed out of bounds right at midfield, and that'll be another first down for the Phoebus Phantoms.
And that looks like that was number 9 for the Hampton Crabbers, that Todd Nolan, that got over there and run him out of bounds, had the angle on him. Lewis broke the play was designed to go inside, Tim, and he popped it outside because it was plugged up inside. Great job of finding the area to run in.
Lewis with a 21-yard gain on the play, right at midfield. First down, Phantoms. This is Lewis again, and Lewis will pick up 3, almost 4. A late flag comes in. We'll see how that one's called. It came in so late, it could have been a face mask. It could have been a variety of things. Let's see what they call. And that's it. Face mask. So obviously that'll be tacked on. Let's see if we can detect the penalty.
I didn't see it.
It's hard to see there, but
and it was it's not a 15-yarder, just a 5-yarder.
Incidental.
Is there such a thing? I guess so.
Yep. And they
still first down.
First down, yeah. So they get the penalty, and it's a spot foul. First down and a long 2. This is Lewis. He's got the first down and many more. Cuts it inside, and he's finally taken down at about the 22-yard line, but not until he picks up another first down as the Phantoms just moving the ball downfield, starting from their 11-yard line.
Again, a nice fake that time by Ward to Samuel going off the right side. Watch this fake, and then Samuel picks up a block, and then nice little move right there. Picked up another 5 yards by cutting inside instead of going out of bounds, Tim.
We do have a penalty flag on the play. I did not see it.
Oh, here it is, right down by the 40-yard line.
Yeah. And it would appear to be against the Phantoms. It's a holding call.
Get the offense. Feet down.
So you just got the last part of that. Richard Rawls telling you it's a holding on the offense, and it moves the ball back to the original line of scrimmage.
So after first and 10.
Yeah, after they trade first down penalties, it ends up with the ball actually about a half a yard further downfield than it was to begin with. So it's, for all intents and purposes, first and 10.
Basically no harm, no foul.
That's right. Field in great condition, nice and dry, no muddy spots like we had a couple of weeks ago. The pitch to Lewis. Lewis trying to get the corner flag down at the line of scrimmage in the area where you might suspect a holding call.
And we got another flag
another late
flag.
So flags flying everywhere, and it's not even June, as in Flag Day.
I love it. You quick tonight. You are quick tonight.
I don't know about that. Here we go. Let's see if you can pick up the penalty at the end of the play. See if we have another face mask call.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Definite face mask.
No, he's got the shoulder pad on that call at least. Let's see what Richard Rawls tells us.
Holding against the offense. 5-yard face mask penalty against the defense. Penalties were offset. We played it down.
All right, so you were right.
Incidental.
Incidental, just grazed it. You know, the difference, and I'm sure the fans know, you take it and you twist it, you get 15. If you just kind of graze it with your hand and let go, they'll sometimes let you off with a 5. So it's still 1st and 10. 1st and 9 3/4, whatever makes you happy.
Makes me happy is I'm here doing this ball game.
Played almost half of the first period, no score. Each team has had it once. Phoebus has had the best opportunities so far, but penalties have hurt them here. Got a couple of first downs called back out of the I formation. Ward gives to the right side. Looks like the ball might have come loose. Scramble for the ball. I don't think it did after the fact, but there was a lot of emotion around it. That was Marcus Samuels getting the call, and
he lost about a yard. So it's
back on the other side.
10 and a quarter.
It's more like 2nd down and 11 now. There you see it. Pretty much what we suspected we would see. Good, hard-hitting football from both squads right now. And I'm happy to say virtually a full house, as there should be for a game of this magnitude. Ward swings it out to the far side. Got it. 1st down. And tripped up at the 38-yard line. Nice catch by number 5, Dustin Johnson.
That was a nice throw by Ward and a good call in that situation. They've been running the ball, even though they've had some penalties and brought it back. You have to be concerned about the run.
14-yard pass play. You have to be very careful because that flare pass like that, if the receiver catches it with his knee on the ground,
that's it. You're right.
Then the play is dead. So it was very close to being that. 1st down and 10 at the Hampton 37. Into the middle of the line goes Lewis, and Lewis crosses the 35 to about the 34. Baba is saying
Broughton and Blunt were in on a tackle. Go ahead.
Got some family here tonight, I see.
Oh, yeah. I had my little grandson, Pat Hintz from Minnesota, a Viking fan, made Andy Foley happy as a Dickens.
Well, yeah.
And my son Robert, of course, is here.
And your wife was here, but I understand
Pat, you know, his 5-year-old, his attention span lasted longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, he said, I'm out of here.
Hey, Grandma, I'm ready to go home.
I saw Grandpa down there on TV, and that was good enough for me.
Yep.
Well, a lot of people are Minnesota fans these days. Lewis, slow to get up. Don't know whether it's an equipment
I think it's
situation.
his shoe, yeah. He's trying to get his shoe on.
But I tell you, looking back to the first game of the season that we did, when he got racked up and they carried him off. Remember that at halftime?
Yeah.
They figuratively and literally carried him to the locker room, and you and I were saying, well, that's it for tonight. We won't see him again. This young man is tougher than shoe leather. He came back out and ran for 100 yards in the second half.
Shoe leather.
Oh, yeah.
And shoe leather's tough.
Yes, sir. Try eating it.
No, I don't think I will, but I'll take your word for it.
3rd down and about 5 for the Phantoms. Short drop over the middle. This pass works this time for the Phantoms. The Crabbers couldn't get it to work, but Lester James grabbed it and hauled it in for a 1st down at the 19-yard line.
What a nice pass.
That was. It was an excellent play. Watch this replay. Just a quick toss. Grabbers defended it well after the fact, but it was so quick in occurring that they really had no opportunity to break it up.
Hampton knows that Phoebus's forte is to run the ball, which then gives the pass a better opportunity.
1st down at the 19-yard line. This is Lewis. Elon Lewis across the 15 to about the 13.
And that was the old cross Fake to the fullback on the left side, and Lewis went off on the right. Watch this. Fake there and go off to the right behind good blocking and picked up some good yardage.
Ball is marked at the 13-yard line, so that's a pickup of about 6, 2nd down and 4 for the Phantoms. No score here in the first quarter. Quarter rapidly winding down as we approach the 3-minute mark. This is Elan Lewis again, and he is across the 10 down to about the 8, very close to first down depending on the spot. Needed to cross the 9, and he may not have gotten quite to the 8. Let's see where they mark it. Initial indication is they've actually given him even less of forward progress than I had first noticed.
But it's less than a yard.
Looked for a moment there that he got to about the 9, but that's all they gave him. So a good job by the Hampton Crabbers. You know, sometimes you say, well, gee, why do they keep hitting? Well, until that whistle blows, you keep hitting because otherwise the guy's going to get more yardage.
Absolutely. And one of the things that will upset a coach more than anything else, they like to see the kids being aggressive, but you don't want to hit the guy moving forward either.
Right.
Don't want to give him that little extra momentum to pick up the first down. And we might see quarterback keeper here.
3rd down and less than a yard. Out of the I formation, and that is exactly what happens is Ward takes the direct snap and surges forward to the 6. So got more than enough for the first down. It is 1st and goal for the Phantoms.
A big psychological advantage if you can score first too, Tim.
Here's the replay. And he just followed that big offensive line, and they made a hole, and he got a first down at the 6.
And that offensive line does a good job. Anthony Robinson is center. Great job. Xavier Little and Jeremy Powell, Garrett Powell, and Tom Johnson are the front 5.
This is Lewis as he picks his way inside the 5 to about the 3.
You notice that when he runs, he kind of scoots. He doesn't have high knee action, and so he's very able to make a real quick cut. Where are they marking the ball?
Well, they moved it back out to about the 4.
I thought he was further down than
it
that.
did appear that way, but obviously we're much further away from the action than they are, and the officials spotting it at the 4-yard line. 2nd and goal. Lewis, the workhorse, and he is down to about the 2 as the Phantoms just keep driving the ball, Had one pass play in there, but otherwise it's been Lewis and Marcus Samuels.
Well, they've had 2 pass plays. That was the one to Dustin Johnson, and then the other one that was the quick slant. Boy, Hampton always gets tough inside the 20-yard line.
We are under a minute in the first quarter. 3rd and goal at the 2. Ward keeping, and as of yet, no signal. He is short of the goal line. They mark him at the 1. So now the crowd starts to get into the ball game. The Phoebus side has watched them move down. They've been almost silent.
Yeah.
Sitting on their hands. It's kind of an interesting situation, but it is 4th down and goal at the 1-yard line. Now you have the best running back on the peninsula. Wonder what you might do.
I know what I'd do. I'd give it to my hoss. I'd give it to Lewis.
So a big 4th and goal at the 1. Ward over center. And he gives it to Lewis, and touchdown. No. Oh, I thought the official was going to raise his hands for a touchdown, but in fact, he was stopping the clock because they say the Crabbers held on a goal line stand.
Oh, I don't know. That was a tough call, but both officials were right there.
Let's watch this replay right from the ground level. Boy, that looks like he has got the ball across the plane there, but it's hard to tell.
But again, from this angle, we can't tell.
19 plays, 9 minutes and 7 seconds, and 6 inches short of a touchdown. So the Crabbers will start from their 1-foot line with a huge goal line stand to keep Elan Lewis out of the end zone. And the Crabbers just keep it on the ground to get a little running room as the clock will wind down and end the first quarter.
All Phoebus But come up empty. That's got to hurt.
Well, you know, that bend, don't break defense of the Crabbers we've seen over the years did exactly that.
We did that. And
so we played 12 minutes, scored Phoebus nothing, and Hampton nothing from Darling Stadium.
And while I got a break here, we'll tell you we will pick a player from the game from each one of these teams tonight, and each player receive a trophy and a shirt. Trophy comes from Trophy World. They're located in Hilton Village in Newport News. For all your recognition and awardees, trophies, plaques, custom engraving, contact Bob Hilling at Trophy World, 595-7354. Mention this announcement, you'll get special pricing. The shirt comes from Tidewater Team Sports, your one-stop sports headquarters for screen printing, embroidering, uniforms, and apparel. Call 594-0411. Talk to David Chubb or Terry McNamara. And I do want to thank Zooms because they're giving an award to the senior player on each one of the football teams this year who's demonstrated academic excellence. These players be awarded plaques at a school board meeting after the season. We'd like to thank David Allen and Zooms for their continued support of WHCS and our student athletes. And of course, let's not forget Hampton Chevrolet, 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. Like a rock to pick up 838-5450.
We, of course, were assuming that everyone was moving down to the other end of the field, but the officials
are calling everybody back.
Yeah, they're calling everybody back, and I'm not sure exactly why. The clock did, in fact, wind down. It was a running play, unless there was a penalty flag on the play.
But that only affects at the end of a half or end of a quarter, end of the game.
First down. First and 10. You're still in the first quarter.
Well, they've moved the ball all the way out to the 16-yard line. Let's see if Richard Rawls. Well,
what is the?
I'm not sure, but there is one untimed down, apparently.
Illegal participation.
Illegal participation. So apparently the Phantoms had 12 players on the field. So the Crabbers will have one play before the quarter actually does completely finish. And they run the ball out to about the 18-yard line, and don't want to be presumptuous here, but I would assume that will end the quarter.
I would assume that it had ended before. So
well, we didn't see the penalty flag, so obviously.
He was in for the touchdown.
I thought
everybody here saw it. Everybody all the way down.
All right, so now we have finished the first quarter.
And while we're doing, let me talk about a crew a little bit while I can. We got our Scotty Bowers as our director. Andy Foley is doing graphics. Mike Nowinski is doing, I think he's on one of the cameras.
It's on the boom
Steve
camera.
Fryer is on one of the cameras. Nathaniel Braxton, Susan Bowers, and Ron Baton are on cameras. Don Schraus, engineer, running around doing everything else. Andre Mattingly is the instant replay, and we have two grips out there tonight, Anthony Reed and Stephen Redcross. I hope I got everybody.
I see Mike Nowinski. He's in the huddle there. And almost got run over by the coaches. They're probably not thrilled about that.
Oh, he's on that boom thing.
No. Mike is running down here on the sideline.
Oh, there he is. He's on one of the sideline cameras. Him and Ron Baton are doing the sideline camera.
All right, so second quarter set to get underway. It is second down and 8 for the Crabbers at the 18-yard line. Crabbers benefiting. They were in deep trouble on the 1-foot line and got a 15-yard penalty to get them out of that area. Roberts keeps the ball and pays the price for it as he gets nothing except a couple of hard licks for his effort.
And that number 20, Travis Cordera, was put the finishing touches on him.
You see Mike Smith.
Picked up what?
No gain. Mike Smith on the sideline with the Hampton coaches. And you see Roberts coming over to the sideline to get the play. Just underway here at Darling Stadium. Full house tonight, and in fact some people standing around the fence, which is always a nice sight to see. Perfect night for football. Glad we've got a full house here at Darling Stadium. Roberts still has the ball, has a man open. He's got Schuler, and Schuler had to reach up and make the grab.
And he got the first down, I think.
Got the first down because his forward progress gave him enough to get it. He couldn't run with the ball because he had to leap to catch it.
Nice fake and a nice grab by Schuler. Second time he's been on the receiving end.
So he needed to get to the 26, and he got to the 27. So they move the chains, and Hampton now with a first down. If you joined us late, a goal line stand by the Hampton Crabbers, preventing the Phoebus Phantoms from scoring, and we're still scoreless. Roberts throws it well over the head of any of the intended receivers.
I think it was intended for number 1 out there, Raymond Holloway.
No wind a factor tonight.
Yeah.
The breeze is just very light, and again, just couldn't be any better. We will be back here next Friday night.
No, not two weeks.
According to the schedule I have.
Yeah, no, Timmy.
Yes, Bobby.
Yes, we are. Next
Bethel
week,
and
the
Kickingham.
24th. You're right. I'm sorry. Week after that, we're missing. Yeah, Bethel and the Warriors.
And that should be a good one. Pass incomplete, thrown a little bit low for the intended receiver. Bethel will get a chance to see them for the first time next Friday night. They are 3-1 in the Peninsula District and playing very well, thank you very much. Actually, I take that back. They're 4-1 overall and 4-0 in the Peninsula District as of tonight, the 17th of October.
I think that young man was on the play that time was B.J. Brown, whose dad played for, Ronnie Brown played for Bill about 20 years ago.
Roberts has some time, throws, got a man open, but overthrows his intended receiver.
And boy, was he wide open. Somebody wasn't on coverage.
The intended receiver was Joey Minter, number 81, but the pass a little too long for him. And that brings up 4th down and 10. And one would expect to see the punting team. And I say that because we never know what to expect. Corey Johnson, who, excuse me, let me correct myself. That is 85, Caleb Sparkman, who is the punter. Made that mistake last time we saw Hampton play. Sparkman gets it away. Hits it about the 49-yard line. It will roll out of bounds at the
looks like about the 41 or 2, yeah.
They'll mark it at the 42-yard line where the Phantoms will have it again. They had a 9-minute drive in the first period that ended up with no score. They'll start from their 42-yard line. Phoebus nothing, Hampton nothing. Both teams coming into this contest undefeated. Phoebus averaging more than 56 points a game on offense. So far, the Crabbers have shut them down. Ward gives to Lewis, and Lewis is shut down as he is stopped for a 1-yard loss. Beautiful defensive effort by number 66.
And that's Dominic White. He's the young man that we waited for the ambulance or the stretcher to come in, and by the time he got there, he was okay.
Yeah, he got healed waiting for the stretcher.
Yeah. Well, great job, Tim.
He did.
Dominic plays one of those guards in that wide tackle 6 that Mike uses. He just went through there like nobody touched him.
Loss of a yard, and Mike Hauser tells me he fumbled the ball but recovered his own fumble on that play. Ward has some time to throw. Got a man open at the 48-yard line, and he is out across midfield on a nice effort. Might be a little short of the first down,
Yeah.
but a superb effort by Dustin Johnson to bring the pass in, and then struggled to get a first down, but came up about a yard short. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 1.
And that's a long one. That's a short 2.
And you saw, well, as you look up, there you see Dustin Johnson with a nice grab. 3rd and a yard. Ball just across midfield. Under 9 minutes remaining in the first half. This is Marcus Samuels, or Samuel Marcus. Who is it?
Marcus
that is
Samuels.
Marcus Samuels, yeah, I had it right first.
You were right the first time. Don't correct yourself.
That's right. Someone will if I do. And he gets enough for the first down, I believe. Let's see where they mark it. Yes, it's inside the 48-yard line. That should be more than enough to move the chains, and they're going to bring him across. Oh, come on now. The ball is on the right side of the 48-yard line. The chain is directly on the 48-yard line. What does that tell you, Bob?
That tells me that, Tim, you should be down there talking to Rawls and
Now, they want to be sure to get it right. And we saw last week the chain had a couple of links missing in it, so you never know about these things.
Oh, we don't want to have missing links.
No, we don't. From this vantage point, he's got the first down by the length of the football. Stretch it out, and it's a first down by
the length of the football. Thank you, Tim. Well, I guess again, the word's out you missed one last
that's right.
week.
I got a tone for my I think I missed two, which is
I wasn't going to bring up both of them.
I call them the way I like to be honest about it. And I usually can get those pretty well, but I think they had some missing links. Or were those the guys working the chain gang? We're not sure.
Oh.
All right, first down, set of downs inside the Hampton side of midfield at the 48. Aaron Ward calling signals. Fakes the handoff, now pitches it back to Lewis. And Lewis struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage, so the Crabbers, relentless on defense,
they
would
really
not let him go.
They stepped it up a notch, and I tell you, he may have picked up some room had he not run into his own player, but he picked up absolutely nothing, it looks like, or maybe about a yard.
Yeah. Well, you know what it was, too, is he ran into his own player because his own player was pushed back into him. The Hampton defense just stuffed that play. They thought Samuels got the handoff initially, and they went for the ball, and then the late pitch went to Lewis, and he had no opportunity. Ward's on the option, has some running room around the left end, and he is upended as he gets to about the 42, maybe the 41-yard line. And that'll bring up a third down and about 4. Here's your replay. You see, this is the option play. Really never looked back for the option.
No, he really didn't, Tim. And if he kept going to the sideline, he probably picked up another couple yards. But he tried to cut it inside, and that Hampton Crabber defense, very good at getting to the point of contact where the ball's going to be. And when he turned back inside, he ran into not the one player, but about 3 of them.
Third down and about 4 for the Phantoms. Play action. Ward has it, throws, completes the pass. This is enough for the first down. This is Marcus Samuels. He's still on his feet all the way down inside the 30-yard line. So an excellent effort by Marcus Samuels after the catch. He had the first down, but picked up about 6 more yards after the play.
He was not to be brought down by one player that time. Really did a great job. If we got it on replay, you'll see how many Crabbers took a shot at him. Well,
he is a senior and has been playing in the shadow of Elin Lewis. So we won't be able to get that for you because of a lack of time to do so. But you saw it. It was an excellent effort. This is Lewis. And Lewis is hit in the backfield, but it gets away from a would-be tackler and then gets to about the 24-yard line. So he'll pick up about 6.
As Brandon Smith and Fenner making the stop.
There you see the scoreboard. Mike Smith on the sideline, working the sidelines feverishly as he always does. His team in a scoreless deadlock with the Phantoms as we've approached the 6-minute mark in the first half. This is Lewis, and Lewis hurdles over a tackler and picks up a yard or so. It'll bring up a third down and about 4 again. There's enough mosquitoes out. Gee, I wonder where all the mosquitoes came from, Bob. We were down on the sidelines before the game and talking with Don Chiraus, and he must have had about 4 of them just buzzing around his face. I thought I was trying to hit him. I slapped at a couple of them.
You missed them and got down.
No, not exactly.
Is that why he had those marks on his?
Thanks a lot. Third down and 4 for the Phantoms in potentially 4th down territory on the option. Ward cuts it up. He's got the first down. He is down close to the 11-yard line.
He did a great job of cutting back that time and avoiding the pursuing defense for the Crabbers.
Mr. Ward is impressing me. I'm very impressed with his running ability.
Good cut right here.
Good decision making.
And look at, he really grabbed hold of that ball. Nolan was trying to strip the ball from me, which is what you wanted to do.
So it's a first down at about the 11.5-yard line. Let's call it the 12 for all intents and purposes. Phoebus has been down this way already once tonight and came away with nothing. Out of the I formation, Lewis gets the handoff, and he is crushed at the line of scrimmage. Might have even lost a yard.
There was no place to run that time. Hampton was in it was almost like they was in the huddle, and they knew what the play was going to be because they just collapsed the right side of the offensive line of the Phantoms that time, just crushed them back, pushed them back, no place for them to go.
Reminds me of my days at Queen Street. Crushed the Crabbers, can't do it. Push them back, way back. Remember all that stuff. You should have seen me with my little cheerleader outfit.
I bet you look real good in cheerleader. You must read my mind.
That new commercial for Subway, right?
Oh, man, yeah.
And we won't go there. Ward throwing for the corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Oh, what a nice catch.
That's Dustin Johnson on the receiving end.
And he was pretty well covered.
I believe the line of scrimmage was the 13-yard line. That'll be a 13-yard pass. Bob's over here killing.
I tell you, I thought it was a big 27 coming in here.
Some big skeeters. You'd think we were out Bull Island. Extra point try. 4:05 to go in the half. The kick is long enough, and the kick is good. The extra point by Chris Schwartz. So that play consumed 6 minutes and 13 seconds, 11 plays, 58 yards, and capped off by a 13-yard pass from Aaron Ward to Dustin Johnson.
He's 6 for 6 for the touchdown.
And that was a nice drive. 6 for 6 passing so far in the game for 59 yards for Mr. Aaron Ward, as he has been really playing extremely well, not only with his passing, but as I mentioned, with his running as well as decision-making has been excellent.
And not only that, Tim, but he's doing a good job of faking the ball with his handoffs. It's just not a he's doing everything real good out there tonight. But I tell you, the defense was there. The ball had to be right on the money.
Yeah.
Because Hampton had a defense. They had 2 players back there. There was also 2 receivers. But what a nice throw by Aaron.
Well, then they threw it to the outside. So if the receiver on your team didn't catch it, no one was going to. 15 minutes of time of possession to 4 minutes in favor of the Phantoms, and yet they only lead by the score of 7-0.
And there was a collision, and I'm not sure who all was involved in it at the 25-yard line, but
the hitting has been ferocious, as it always is when these two teams meet. So the ball marked at the 25-yard line. Watch the replay of the kickoff from the 10, a 15-yard
right
return.
Here. Boom.
Yeah, boom, right into the hit a brick wall.
There was a brick wall running into a brick wall. There was nowhere to go.
So Roberts from the 25, slant pass, perfect. And this is going to go all the way out to the 44-yard line on a beautiful pass play completed to Todd Nolan, his favorite receiver. I got that stat. Got a stat on Nolan in here. He's on the season. 11 grabs for 333 yards.
Yeah,
and 6
333.
touchdowns. 11 catches, 6 touchdowns. You talk about a big-time percentage. That's over 50% of the time his catches are for touchdowns. First down from the 44-yard line, excuse me, and that play goes nowhere as the Phoebus defense was ready. Stopped the running back for, no gain.
And that
44.
was Cyrus Francis, number 77, and number 20, Travis Credera again in on the top stop. He was one of the inside linebackers, Credera is, along with Stephon Moss. They're the 2 inside linebackers.
There you see the big crowd on the Hampton side of the field, and the other side of the field similarly packed. Roberts eludes a tackler, has some running room down the sideline, and he is finally pushed out of bounds, but not until he gets inside the 31 at the 30-yard line.
Nice run by Roberts. Tight walking down the sideline.
Both quarterbacks are playing very well. This is going to come at you right on the ground level. He got away from one would-be tackler and stayed in bounds until he was pushed out. by, amongst others, number 2, Donathan Robinson. So the ball marked at the 30-yard line, a first down for the Crabbers as they try to respond to the Phoebus score. Roberts gives on the inside handoff, nothing. Ball carrier was Schuler, Andre Schuler. Schuler, as I mentioned, coming into the game, 58 carries, 388 yards. His running back tandem with Derek Fairley, 72 carries for 508 yards. Between them, almost 900 yards rushing. Second down and 10 after the no gain. This is Roberts, and Roberts will pick up a couple on the keeper. And that'll bring up a third down and about 7.5 to go for the Crabbers. This Phoebus defense, total defense, yards per game this year, 92 yards per game. And when it comes to rushing the Phoebus Phantoms, they only give up 49 yards per game.
Stephen Friday, number 82, one of the defensive ends, along with Cyrus Francis again on a stop.
We've got a timeout, an officials stoppage of play. Got some equipment issues there. And it looks like it's been remedied. So with 1:51 remaining in a rapid first half.
I was going to say,
seems like first quarter. First half. We're almost through the first half. And this game started 40 minutes ago.
Now we got to have a timeout here.
So now Hampton will take a timeout. That'll be their first. And that comes with 1:35 left on the clock. Bob, I've been impressed with the defenses so far as a kind of, we kind of set that up. The defenses have been dominant for both of these teams this year, but when the defense hasn't, Phoebus keeps the other team off the field, gives them a lot of chance to do stuff with the ball.
Well, Phoebus has allowed 49 yards rushing, and Hampton has only allowed 36 yards rushing. Passing, Phoebus allowed 43 passing, and Hampton 44 passing. So they're really equal in the people that they have played, the statistics of what they have allowed, their defense. But tonight, when you play two teams that are as well coached as both of these are, and as good athletes as something's got to give, and you're not going to be on the averages.
Phoebus has 88 yards rushing so far, and I'll try and get the same stat for Hampton here in a moment. Roberts pass, sideline, complete.
Schuler again.
And Schuler is pushed forward, much to the delight of the Hampton team, as he was struggling. And, again, you can't pick your spots, but the Phoebus actually helped him out with a couple of yards there as they tackled him forward. Here's the replay. This is a nice-looking pass. Both of these young quarterbacks are just playing very well, right in your living room.
Well, no, I don't know who's supposed to pick up Schuler coming out of the backfield, but that's the third pass that he has gotten coming out of the backfield. Great. I don't know if they just put that in for this series or not, but it's got the earmarks of a very successful coaching job by the Crabbers.
I wonder, is that right? Successful coaching, Crabbers?
Well,
By the way, I did get that stat for you. Hampton 40 yards on the ground so far to the Phoebus 88. As you may recall, Phoebus took that first possession and drove the field, but didn't come up with anything on the scoreboard. 4 out of 8 for Roberts for 52 yards in the passing department here in the first half. But right now, and it's becoming a real coaches match now. Each team taking a timeout to talk about what they're going to do on offense and take a timeout for the defense. This last timeout was by Bill D.
And I'm sure Bill D says somebody picks up number 8 coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, wants to make sure that doesn't happen again. Handoff in the backfield goes to Derek Fairley, one of the rare times he's carried tonight. And he gets to about the 8-yard line. So it'll be second down and about 7 to go.
Well, that was Hill and Blunt in on the stop.
Clock moving. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining as we are under a minute to go here in the first half. Phoebus 7 and Hampton nothing, but Hampton threatening inside the Phoebus 10-yard line. Roberts short drop, slant pass off the hands of the defender that time. as the intended receiver was once again Joey Minter, but a good job by Lester James to break that play up. Stopping the clock with 38 seconds remaining.
And that brings up a third down, right?
Right, third down. And, of course, you might imagine this could be 4-down territory. Not that it's crucial you score a touchdown here, but
I think it's crucial you come away for some points.
Yeah. Double wides to the right side. Roberts drops, throws, and it's incomplete over Schuler's head. As check that, not Schuler, but Todd Nolan, rather, number 9. 8 and the 9 with these big numerals is hard to discern the difference. And here's the replay.
And I think we're going to go for a field goal.
And the field goal kicker would be Corey Johnson. They'll spot the ball at the 15 if, in fact, it is not a fake. So it'd be a 25-yard field goal attempt. The kick is up. It's long enough, but it's wide left. Yeah, he did. He pulled it left. So the Crabbers have a nice run of their own going, but the Phoebus defense forces a 4th down, and the Crabbers come up with nothing with a field goal wide left from 25 yards.
Well, both teams have now experienced a scoring opportunity and come away empty. And let's see next time the Crabbers get the ball if they can't respond like the Phantoms did their second time possession of the ball.
30 seconds remaining. Hampton missing the field goal, giving it over to the Phantoms, and the Phantoms will just be content to take that 7-0 lead into the locker room if the Crabbers choose not to use their 2 timeouts, which apparently they will be happy to go into the locker room as well. It looks like that was the final play of the first half. So the fans, a full house here at Darling Stadium, have gotten their money's worth, and by the way, that's not a lot of money because I think it only cost about $4 to get in.
$4 or $5, I think. Something $5, I think, for adults.
And that is the final play of the first half. So we've completed 2 quarters here at Darling Stadium. Our only score, a 13-yard pass play from Aaron Ward to Dustin Johnson, and the extra point was good. Our score at halftime, Phoebus 7 and Hampton nothing. We'll return to Darling Stadium with the third quarter of action after this brief timeout. Our score at halftime, the Phoebus Phantoms, a 13-yard pass play to Dustin Johnson from Aaron Ward, and that's the only score of the ball game. Both teams played, I thought, very well, Bob. I thought they played in a very controlled tempo. There were no fumbles lost, there were no interceptions, there were no even near situations like that. Good hard hitting, and the team's executing quite well considering it's just a 7-0 game. You'd think there was no offense.
Yeah, here comes the statistics. It'll give you an idea of the difference in the time of possession. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, you see the first downs, Hampton. Those are flip-flop, guys. The first downs are, at least. But at any rate, 89 yards rushing for Phoebus, 43 for Hampton, 52 passing, 59 for the Phantoms. Ward, perfect, 6 of 6 throwing, 4 out of 10 for Roberts. No punt returns and no sacks Fumbles, there was one fumble. Hampton did not lose the fumble. Only one penalty against the Crabbers for 5 yards, 2 for 25 against the Phantoms. Ironically, those three
I think everything is switched because I think it was the Phantoms that fumbled and got their own fumble back, and I think it was Lewis.
And there was only 3 penalties, and they all occurred consecutively during that one possession. But look at the time of possession, almost 16 minutes for the Phantoms to 8 minutes for the Crabbers. But doesn't matter how long you had the ball, doesn't matter where you ran with it, doesn't matter except when it scores.
If you only have the ball 10 minutes the whole game, but you scored 4 points or 4 touchdowns and win the game, who cares?
Well, that's pretty much where we are right now as we see the teams returning to the field. The officials huddled at the center of the field. The full house hasn't gone anywhere, and we're about set to get the third quarter underway. Bob, what do you got for us?
Well, I just want to remind the fans that we'll pick a player of the game from both of these teams tonight, and each player receive a trophy and a shirt. The trophy comes from Trophy World. They're located in Hilton Village in Newport News. For all your recognition award needs, trophies, plaques, and custom engraving, contact Bob Hilling at Trophy World, 595-7354. And the shirt comes from Tidewater Team Sports, your one-stop sports headquarters for screen printing, embroidering, uniform, and apparel. Call 594-0411. Talk to either David Chubb or Terry McNamara.
There you see the sideline cheerleaders, all the enjoyment and the flavor of high school football. If you haven't been to a game in a while, you ought to make plans to do so. Phantoms will get it to start the second half. They'll field it at the 20-yard line. This is Ward. The quarterback has some running room. He's got one man to beat. And he is finally caught from behind, but not until he is inside the 35-yard line.
Wow.
What a great return by Aaron Ward on the kickoff.
It really was, Tim, and he ran across. There was a big hole right where all the players were coming, and how many yards was that?
48-yard return. So that could be huge.
He may need a breather here.
Yeah, he's got to go back there and now play quarterback. But, yeah, that was a great way to start the second half for the Phantoms.
And if you remember, they deferred to get the ball at the beginning of the second half, so that was a smart move on their part right now.
32-yard line. They give the ball right side for Marcus Samuels. Samuels is shaken up. I believe he's got a cramp.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
He's trying to stretch that right hamstring out as he gets up. And, you know, we've talked about it before. Won't belabor the point, but, boy, there's nothing much more painful than a cramp like that.
I tell you, it is really painful, and that brings in number 34 going in that fullback, and that's the B.J. Brown, this young man I was talking to you about before. His dad, Ronnie Brown, played for Bill D.
So the third quarter just underway. Big return of 48 yards for Aaron Ward has Phoebus in good field position. Second down and about 5. And now Ward apparently calling an audible. And unfortunately for the Phantoms, he took a little too much time.
So now from a 2nd and 5, you go to a 2nd and 10. That really makes the coach, that kind of upsets him because you had a little momentum going with a nice run back, and now and then you lose the 5 yards, or actually had a 6-yard game, but you lose 5 of it because you weren't ready to call the play, or you was calling an audible. And give the coaches a few gray hairs.
Or no hair.
Well, I didn't want to bring that up. I didn't want to say anything that, you know, I didn't want to say about you being follically challenged.
No, I'm talking about Bill D. Bill's getting follically challenged, too.
Uh-oh.
Lewis on the carry, trying to go wide. Good defensive pursuit by the Crabbers. As you watch the replay, and they just bottle that play up as we have a little bit of difficulty on a replay there. But we're back to the live action now. And the ball marked at the 29-yard line. 3rd down and 8. So that penalty really hurt.
It really did.
Or at least it appears to hurt. Hadn't hurt him yet, but it could bog down this series.
We got Lewis coming right.
Way out as a split receiver to the near side. And that's where the ball is thrown. Got a kind of a screen out there, and the Crabbers were not going to be fooled by that. They played it very well.
And I'm impressed with number 73 for the Crabbers coming across to that Trevor Broughton. I mean, he came from his tackle position out there to help make that stop.
I believe that's our man from Channel 13 there, I think.
We got about a 42.5-yard field goal attempt here.
This will be a pretty severe distance for Chris Schwartz. Let's see if he's got the leg for it. He's got the distance. And it's wide to the right, so just narrowly missed. So each team now has missed a field goal attempt.
Well, and I tell you, the Crabbers have to feel good. And I know that the Phantoms are saying, boy, we really blew it. We had a 2nd and 5, and then we had a penalty that cost us a momentum.
So on the touchback, the ball is spotted at the 20-yard line for the Crabbers. They trail 7-0. This game videotaped on the 17th of October, 2003. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and the Channel 46 crew. Got Mike Hauser and Bob Killen up here keeping stats for us. And a quick hitter out across the 25 to the 26, a gain of almost 6.
Looks like Schuler, wasn't it?
I believe it was.
Tim, we do want to mention the second half is brought to you in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, conveniently located at Hampton Center Parkway, North Armstead Avenue. For information, give them a call at 827-4670. Nancy Staten is the manager.
That was Fairley. We mentioned Schuler, but it was actually Fairley who carried the ball for
Schuler making the block.
Yeah. 2nd down and 4 after the pickup of 6. This is Fairley again, and he is in the open. He's got a downfield blocker, cuts it back nicely, and is tripped up at the 48-yard line.
Boy, they found something that was open. Woo. What a nice run, Tim.
Fairley hit that hole running. Watch the replay here. Again, having a little bit of a difficulty on the replay, at least in our booth. Hopefully the picture is more clear for you at home. But they marked the ball at the 48-yard line. Fairley with another first down. 8:50 remaining in the third quarter. 7-0 Phoebus. This game for sole possession of first place. Roberts throwing again way over the head of his intended receiver. He has been super long on all of his long passes.
And a little bit of adrenaline going maybe, Tim.
Yep. You got those guys with the white jerseys breathing down your neck that'll cause you to throw the ball a little errant. So can't blame them too much for that.
And it was good defense back there. Number 2 for the who is that? Robinson was back deep on that play, so that the receiver did not get behind the defense.
Give him a 5-yard penalty for the late here.
2nd down and 10. Hampton used all of those 25 seconds. This is Fairley again, and again a good cut. And Fairley
still on
his feet. First down at the 40-yard line.
And you can see the Crabbers are getting a little bounce in their step, getting a little confidence here running that ball.
They did not have a great deal of success rushing the ball in the first half. So another first down for the Crabbers.
That looks like just a misdirection coming back the other side, and Fairley is picking up some good blocking on the left side of the line of scrimmage.
6 carries for 47 yards for Fairley, and he gets the call again and makes something out of nothing as he got a couple of tough yards to about the 38-yard line.
Well, he was hit in the backfield before he got to the line of scrimmage and still picked up a yard or 2.
And he's going to come out of the game now, and Schuler will check in.
Well, they bring Schuler in. They'll put Schuler at the tailback spot and run a...
They got Medicus Riddick, number 33, in the backfield now.
No, it's 40-something.
Is it 40-something? 33 came in.
42.
Roberts still has the football, and he is wrapped up after a gain of maybe a yard, which will bring up 3rd and long.
That's Ernest Harvey. They'll bring him in at fullback and move Schuler to the tailback. Schuler normally plays the fullback spot, but when Fairley needs a breather, that's what they'll do.
So a big 3rd down and 7 for the Crabbers. They need to get to the 30. Actually closer to 6 from where they spotted the ball.
Well, if you're Phoebus, you're going to want to look for number 8 going out into the flat.
And now a penalty flag, and this is a crucial penalty here. If it's against Phoebus, it makes it 3rd and short. If it's against Hampton, it makes it 3rd and big time. And it's going to be against Phoebus for encroachment. So a cheap 5 yards for the Crabbers will set up a 3rd down and
defense,
1.
5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
And that is a huge penalty.
It really does, because now you can run the ball and pick it up. Before, it looked like almost you had to put the ball in the air.
6:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 3rd down in the yard.
And they brought him across.
If they weren't drawn off, that will be a 1st down.
Yeah, they were not drawn off. They were pulled off by the count.
Well, we'll let the officials make it official. But that is going to be the call. So consecutive encroachment calls, and that calls the time offside this time.
Well, it's still encroachment. There's no offside in defense. That's what Mick McCullough told me.
Well, actually, I heard the offside was by the PA announcer.
Yeah, well, he don't know what he's talking about.
But Bob Killen tells me if you look up encroachment, it says offside. So
yeah, but
hey, everybody. Beautiful night here. Yeah, we're on here.
Okay.
Beautiful night here at Darling Stadium. I'm overdressed. I brought my parka because last time I was here, I was.
Your parka?
I'm telling you, I was ready for it to get chilly because it's been chilly, you know. And tonight just could not have been nicer.
No, really. Let me go through our sponsors again real quick. Hampton Chevrolet Jeep Mazda has the new and used cars. Give them a call at 838-5450, located at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard.
They're a car dealer.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. Go down and get one. And, of course, Zooms, who has that Beantown coffee, chicken. Oh, you like that fried chicken and the pizza.
Pizza.
Potato wedges. And you like their Krispy Kreme donuts because you get them in a box in one.
Exactly. And
Coke, and then you fill up your car with that what?
The Super Citgo gasoline. Citgo at Zooms. 14 convenient locations to serve you. 1st down and 10 on consecutive encroachment calls. Had movement again by the Phantoms. Didn't get called for it. And a fumble. The ball kicked forward. And who's going to come up with it? A scramble. The Phoebus Phantoms say they've got it, but no official signal yet. And it is Hampton.
Hampton got it.
Yep. So they won't put that play into the playbook. It was literally kicked forward, obviously unintentionally by Roberts. And the fumble is a 11-yard gain.
Well, Roberts lost the handle on that ball coming out of the coming from the center. Now they do have a new center. Mike said in the interview that the other center broke a wrist or something.
We don't know. Unfortunately, can't determine who recovered it for Hampton. But, in fact, they did at the 15-yard line. So a huge break. Looked like the Phantom back on defense was going to get to it first. But, that ball always bounces strangely. As they stick to the ground now, Andre Schuler, the big 6'2", 215-pound senior running back. As they're down to the 10-yard line. 2nd down and 5. As you watch the replay of this last action, Schuler just driving those legs.
And that was Anthony Robinson, number 51, in to make the stop.
At the 10-yard line, 2nd down. Crabbers have been there before. Crabbers to the 5 as Schuler gets very close to the 1st down depending on the spot.
And I believe he's got it.
From here, it would appear he does by about half the length of the football. Good look down the side, and Richard Rawls says, yep, he's got it. So it's 1st and goal, the ball inside the 5. As I started to say, the Crabbers.
That play off left side has really been working for the Crabbers.
Started to say they've been down inside the 10 before, but came away with nothing on the missed field goal. Now Roberts is stacked up for no gain. This Phoebus defense, much like we talked about how well the Crabber defense does when they break and don't bend, or bend and don't break rather, and that's what we're seeing now with the Phoebus defense, because these guys are tough to score against. They've got 2 shutouts on the season, do the Phantoms. And now we've got a Phantom slow to get up.
No, I think he had put a shoe on. Yeah, he's putting his shoe on. That's number 8.
I didn't say he was hurt. I just said he's slow to get up.
Slow to get up because he had to get a shoe on. James Hill, isn't it?
Yep. So the ball marked right at the 5. 2nd down and goal. 5:10 remaining in the 3rd. Clock is moving. Hampton trying to tie or go ahead. And you've got a Phantom in the neutral zone. So once again, the over-eagerness of the defense could, and again, we'll wait and make sure, but it looks like an encroachment call. That's what it is. Half the distance to the goal.
Well, the Crabbers are knocking on the door, and the Phantoms are ready to fire, and they're going to move on any little cadence difference or anything.
They've got to be disciplined, and normally they would be. This is not an undisciplined team. Bill D doesn't coach undisciplined teams, but the Crabbers have gotten to them for 3 encroachment calls here on this drive. Quarterback keeper, and Roberts is down to the 1-foot line. He reached over, but he was already down. I think that's a good call by the officials. Watch this, as you'll see, Roberts.
They've got 2 more tries down here.
Yeah. So they actually show his forward progress as being about 2 feet short of the goal. And the Hampton crowd getting into it as the Phoebus crowd on the far side likewise. Roberts keeper, no signal yet.
No.
And there's a signal, no touchdown.
No, he didn't make it.
It's 3rd and goal. So after Hampton held Phoebus in a goal line stand in the first half, now the Phantoms trying to fashion a goal line stand of their own. We'll watch this from the ground level.
He was closer, and he was closer, I think, last time than he was that time.
So it's 3rd and goal at the 1. Great matchup between these two teams, Bob. This game has been as good as you can get. 4th down, excuse me. 4th down and goal. 4th down. I missed it down there. So can they do it? Can Phoebus keep them out? Here it is. Tried the hard count, didn't pull them. And now a penalty flag to end the game. Oh my, what a huge penalty this is. Oh boy. Instead of 4th and goal inside the 1, it'll be 4th and goal in the 6.
The offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So both teams making mistakes, mental errors here in the heat of the battle.
You will lose hair or it will turn gray.
So now, trying to draw them off, there was a hard count. Phantom stayed home, so he checked off, and in doing so, took a little too much time. And now the Phantom faithful are asked to get on their feet on the far sideline and cheer on their squad. See if the Phantoms can have a similar goal line stand. 4th and goal at the 6. Roberts, the pitch. Fairley. He is tripped up short of the goal. It'll be Phoebus football.
What 2 great defensive stands by both of these teams.
But boy, what a huge penalty to occur with 4th and less than a yard to go. Watch this from the ground level. You're going to see Fairley, who had great success running the ball in this possession, but not in the end zone. He stopped at about the 4. So now the Phantoms will get it, as each team has had a goal line stand, a classic game between these two longtime rivals. This is Elan Lewis, and Lewis is out across the 10 to almost the 11, almost the 12-yard line.
He hurdled a defender that time, Tim. I don't know if you picked it up or not.
I did. We'll see it again. Watch as Lewis gets to the line of scrimmage. He just kind of leaped over someone.
And after he did, he picked up about 3 more yards.
They marked the ball at the 12, gain of 8. 2nd down and 2. Lewis, and he is stuffed.
And he lost yardage that he picked up trying to go outside, and Hampton is ready for anything going outside.
They are ready for that play. They had that play diagnosed perfectly. Watch this. He had no place to go. No blocking and no hole. He was dead in his tracks.
Big third down possession here for the Phantoms, Tim.
Oh, yeah.
If they don't get the ball, if they don't get the first down, Hampton's going to get great field position and probably inside the 50.
Well, that's a couple of big ifs. Out of the I formation.
This is the elephant.
This is Lewis, and Lewis is stopped apparently short of a first down.
Oh, yeah, about 2 or 3 yards.
Yep, needed to get to the 14, and it looks like he'll be stopped at about the 12. So that'll bring on the kicking team for the Phantoms. So the Crabbers with an opportunity to get good field position here. But you never know what happens. That's why that ball has pointy ends to it. Just never know. Jamar Whitaker in deep punt formation for the Phantoms. Standing on his own goal line, gets the kick away. It's an end over end fielded at the 46-yard line. Near side to the 41, and that's about all. As a nice effort by Brandon Smith, number 21, to return that punt.
But great, I tell you, great hustle on the defense, because they had, first of all, they had to keep the Crabbers from blocking it and then get down the field. He caught the ball at about the 46.
Yep.
So he picked up 5 yards. That's
excellent special teams. That's how you get to be number 1 ranked in the state, because you do a lot of things well, not just 1 or 2 things.
Number 1 versus number 9.
All right, the Crabbers from the Phantom 41. It's been a good one. I hope you've enjoyed it right here on Channel 46. A yard, that's about it for Fairleigh. We'll be back here again next Friday night as Kickingham will be here to take on the Bethel Bruins. Our first chance to see the Bethel squad.
Watch the tacklers this time is number 10, Corey Blunt, and number 11, Stephon Moss, combined to make that tackle, and then a couple others coming to help.
Fairleigh now 9 carries for 61 yards on the night. Got 1 yard on that one. Second down and 9 at the Phantom 40. Play action. Roberts steps up in the pocket, throws, and there's contact, but apparently incidental contact with the receiver and the defender, as Roberts was decked after he threw the ball, all of it clean.
But he did a great job of avoiding the first defender that was there, so he could make the throw, but he hung out and made a nice throw just a little too far. And Dustin, number 2, Robinson.
Still got a name for 34 Phoebus. He's too concerned about going to the ball, so get the small passes that are open. CJ
Brown. 3rd down and 9 for the Crabbers. Low snap, but Roberts has it. Has time, throws, completes it at the 30, inside the 26-yard line. A first down for the Crabbers. Nolan on the receiving end of the pass.
And that was a good catch. I mean, a good job that time for Roberts, because you mentioned the low snap from center. He had to really pick it up and kind of bobble it, but then took his time and hit
it was pretty.
Nolan on a nice route, and that is at the end of the third. End of the third quarter.
Yes, sir. That was the final play. The ball first down at the Phoebus 25-yard line when the 4th quarter begins. Bob, we've watched a lot of football over the years, but this is as good a game as we've seen in a long time.
It really is, because neither one of the teams have been dominant. Well, possession-wise, the Phantoms did the first half, but the second half is kind of turned around. The Crabbers right now have the possession of the ball more than the Phantoms. If my mind, the clock in my mind is working right.
Well, that's a big assumption there.
Well, yeah, I tell you.
No, I tell you that I don't need to hype it. I'm glad to see we had a big crowd on hand. I'm glad to see we didn't have bad weather. It was so often you have a big matchup like this, you end up with rain or something like that, but tonight just could not have turned out better. And so far, the fans have been treated to everything they could have expected.
And both teams are playing real well, Jim.
They absolutely are. And, these tensions, these offsides and these encroachments, whatever you want to call them, are all part of the intensity of the game as Fairley is wrapped up for a loss. And that was the tackle was made by James Hill, but the play was stuffed by the right side of the defensive line.
It really,
they just
really
broke
was.
down all the blocking.
It did. It was a delay, almost like a draw play, if you will, and it just didn't fool anybody. It was kind of a delay handoff, and it was nowhere for him to go because the Phantoms were in the backfield.
This is really what both teams have done on defense. That they've broken down the blocking schemes and prevented the big plays. Roberts on play action. Has some time and again overthrows his intended receiver, Nolan. Who was well covered, I might add.
He was well covered, Tim, but there was a man in the flat, and I believe it was Schuler again was wide open. We can't pick it up. Coming out of the backfield was wide open, but he went for the
he never looked at anyone but Nolan.
Right, he went to the receiver that was the primary receiver on that particular play.
And quite frankly, when you've got those horses coming at you from the other side of the line, you don't have a lot of time to look at your various options. He just figured, what the heck, I might as well throw this to my best receiver, or at least the one with the best stats. It's 3rd down and 15. Schuler racked up as he gets to about the 21-yard line, but it'll be 4th down and about 5.
A little more than 5.
Yeah, they actually give him only forward progress to the 22-yard line, so it's more like 4th and 7. As you'll watch the replay here.
And we got number 87 for the Phantoms is down. That's Matt Wright. And I don't know if he's got a cramp or what, but
looks like
he's
that
slow
might be
getting
the
up.
case. He's trying to get up, but
well, why I got this little break in the action, I do want to tell you that Zooms has given an award to the senior football player on each one of the teams in Hampton this year has demonstrated academic excellence. These players will be awarded plaques at the school board meeting after the season. We'd like to thank David Allen and Zooms for the continuing support to WHCS and our student athletes.
Yep, that was Wright, 87, who limped off, but seemed to be in fairly good shape, we're happy to say.
Going 4th.
4th and 7. Going to go with a hard count. And now they'll call timeout. So the Phantoms, learning from their mistakes, did not bite that time.
What you need to do, right?
And now the Crabbers will be faced with the decision, do they try a long field goal or do they go for it on 4th and 7? Obviously, you wouldn't punt at this point.
No. Hampton Chevrolet Jeep Mazda located at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. Give them a call, 838-5450. And again, we want to thank Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, who is bringing the second half of this contest. They're located at Hampton Center Parkway, North Armstead Avenue. Nancy Staten is the manager. For more information, give them a call, 827-4670.
I look around, I see people in jackets. I see people with bare sleeve halter tops on and stuff. There's a variety of different, but I'll tell you, the evening has just been perfect.
But it depends on whether you have hot flashes or not. Obviously, you don't. You brought a parka and long pants.
I was ready. I was ready. I was chilly last time, so I said I'd rather overdo it.
Well, see, last time I brought the coat because you needed it.
All right.
Tonight,
I just got to call you. See, there's some of the fans on the sideline there with
you got my number.
Spaghetti straps. I got your number. I had your number for years.
Well, we want to talk about that.
All right, it is 4th down, and it would appear that the Crabbers are going to go for it rather than a field goal attempt. Roberts has some time, has a man at the goal line, knocked away.
He got it.
What a grab. Nolan.
He caught it after it was tipped by one of the Phoebus Phantoms. What a catch. What concentration.
The ball was tipped, too.
Yes, it was. It was tipped. 22-yard pass. Watch this replay. The ball is tipped by the defender. And what great concentration by Nolan to bring that pass in for the touchdown. Now the extra point to try and tie. Crucial extra point. Points are hard to come by, and it is no good.
Holy moly.
No good.
Boy, that takes the air out for a second.
We have no angle, so I couldn't possibly, nor would I even try to tell you.
I thought it was good from my angle, so I couldn't tell you.
You can't tell from this angle, though, because I've always been fooled by it. I think it was wide right. I don't know, but nonetheless, 7-6. A missed extra point. You know, recapping the recent games between these two teams, they haven't been close. 28-7, 46-15, 27-7. But this one could be decided by an errant extra point try. But we still got plenty of time, 10:36 remaining. Each team has 2 timeouts left. Now what happens here is Hampton, Phoebus, and Woodside are all undefeated in the Peninsula District and in Group AAA Division 5. So this game could be very crucial to the loser of this game tonight, as it is ultimately crucial to the victor tonight.
Well, and I think the Woodside doesn't play Hampton or Phoebus in close to the end of the season, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And both of those games have none of them are played here.
Nope. 41 yards on that drive, 2 minutes and 18 seconds, an 8-play drive, but a wide right field goal, extra point after the touchdown, a 22-yard pass from Mike Roberts to his favorite receiver, and rightly so, Nolan. Todd Nolan, to be exact. And by the way, Nolan's a junior, so he'll be back next year. So now the Crabbers will have to play good defense and get the ball back to have a chance to win this game. Good long kick is fielded at the 9-yard line. And upended as he crosses the 23 to about the 24.
What a hit.
Let's make sure he's okay.
And that's Elon Lewis running that back.
Well, I shouldn't have even questioned if he was going to be all right. The guy is as tough as they come. And he is upended. And we've got a penalty flag back where it might have been offsides.
And I thought I saw one of the Crabbers offside on the kickoff.
Illegal participation right here.
Oh, illegal participation.
Yeah, too many players on the field.
That's a big penalty. So you go
got to move them back 15, make them kick again.
Back 15. Back so instead of 40, they're going to kick from the 25.
Yeah. You heard Richard Rawls, and the captain for the Phantom said, "Yep."
Gets the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, re-kick.
Darn right you took it, because anytime you re-kick, those guys who just ran the length of the field are going to be winded a little bit, but more importantly, you gain 15 yards.
Yeah.
So something the Crabbers did not need right now. They had the big hit on the return, but now they've got to re-kick it. Let's see, let's count some noses here, Bob. 3, 6, 9, 11. Another good
nice kick.
All the way back to the 18-yard line, but again, this is Lewis. Lewis has a hole. He's got some running room. He's to the outside. 40, 35, and the ball comes loose. It looks like the Phantoms recovered their own fumble.
They did.
So that'll be a 2-yard backwards loss, if you will, on the fumble, but they'll still have it at the Hampton 37. So that penalty was very potentially damaging.
Well, that was Jamar Whitaker, number 27, that jumped on that fumble.
46-yard return by Elan Lewis.
That's much better field position than the 25 where he was before.
Oh, yeah.
That big 15-yard penalty hurt him.
Well, it could. Ward swings it to the near sideline, and they say no, it's incomplete.
It bounced before it got to Johnson.
Dustin Johnson, who has the lone touchdown for the Phantoms. These two teams, predominantly running teams, and of course, both touchdowns have been passes. 2nd down and 10. Ball at the Hampton 38-yard line. We'll keep you apprised of the time now. 10-14 in the 4th quarter. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. And Wright stumbles as he comes to the near side in motion. And I don't think he ever got set, but they didn't throw a flag, so I guess he was allowed to be in motion. Lewis gets the call and is across the 35 to the 32.
And looked like Matt Wright twisted his ankle when he was coming over there, didn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was already twisted or he twisted it as he was in motion. He's still in there. Let's see if he limps up to the line. I think he's still favoring that ankle.
He's down.
No, that's Lewis. I think Lewis has a shoe issue.
Oh, he does. He's tying his shoe.
And at the same time, you see in the bottom of your screen there, that's Chris Wright. Is it Chris?
Matt Wright.
Matt Wright, who's now he's down. He's got a cramp. And if he's not able to get up and get back in the huddle when the whistle blows, they'll have to take him out for a play or be charged with a timeout. So he gets back up and it looks like he's set to go. But he's suffering right now.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see him on any long patterns. Double slot to the right side, out of the eye, the handoff. Oh, no, fumble on the handoff, recovered by the Crabbers. There you have it.
It looked like number 62 got it. Timothy Richardson, I'm not sure.
Matt Wright, slow to get up again, still suffering from that cramp, but more importantly, watch this replay.
And I thought he handed the ball off because there was an opening there.
No, it was a fake.
Yeah.
He got crushed, and the Crabbers come up with a loose ball. So a rare turnover in this game has given the Hampton Crabbers the ball at their own 38. This is Daly.
And that's Matt Wright, number 78, on the 87 on the tackle, along with number 4, Lester James.
Check that. Farley, not Daly. Fairley. I'll get it right yet.
Fairley.
Having a brain warp here.
A warp?
Fairley. Fairley.
Fairley.
He's a fairly good runner, and that's to understate a fact. So Fairley got the call and lost a yard. After the Phoebus defense stiffening on that play. Second down and 11. Crabbers out of the eye. Play action. Roberts wants to throw. He's got his man this time. Nolan gets away from the tackler. He's got some running room. Lewis is in chase, and he is down at the 2. He stepped out at the 2, apparently.
What a pass.
Woo! Nolan, what a run after the pass. 60 yards. Watch the replay. Let's see if we can determine where he stepped out. Nolan, what a great job to get away from the tackler. It'll be hard to tell. He stepped out. Actually, he stepped out at the 4.
Yeah.
Or it appeared that he did. He could have possibly, in fact, stepped out at the 4. Let me see if we can get that replay again, if it's possible to keep it. Because it appeared as though his right foot went out of bounds at the 4, but they did, in fact, rule him out at the 2. Can the Phantom defense do the same goal line stand again? Wow.
Well, they're going to be tested.
Stacked up, second and goal. Watch this again. Now, let's see if we can see. Yep, he stepped right out on the
4-yard line.
He was on chalk at the 4-yard line, so the officials.
They gave him 2.
They gave him 2 because they keep it rolling, Scott. Let me see if we can see where he eventually went out. A second time. There you see his foot clearly out of bounds at the 2.
But he hit the chalk.
But he was out at the 4. That could be a huge spot ultimately, as 2 yards a lot closer to the goal line than 4. Second and goal, and now the Crabbers burn a second timeout.
They think they're trying to draw him offside again, Tim. They have done that very successful tonight.
Great camera work, guys. Great work on the slow motion, because that clearly showed that he stepped on the chalk at the 4-yard line after making a great play. Todd Nolan on that pass from Mike Roberts for 60 yards. I'm telling you, this one will only be over when it's over, folks, because there's 7:40 remaining, and we've already seen 2 goal line stands, one by each team. And the Phantoms trying to tighten their belts and come up with yet another one, and the Crabbers, after missing the extra point, trying to take the lead. This is where a field goal attempt should have come down to that.
Yeah.
Could be huge. We've got a lot of downs to go before we have to even consider that fact. Second and goal at the 2.
He's in.
No, he's not.
He didn't get in?
No, he's down at the 1. Schuler, You're looking at the man who was lead blocking for him.
Oh, yeah, I really was.
Schuler stopped at the 1. 3rd and goal. Boy, has this been a game of big plays on defense. Schuler, no.
And he didn't get in.
No, he stuffed for a yard loss. So now you're looking at 4th down. What do you do, Bob? Exactly 7 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. You trail by 1. What do? You bring on the kicking team, I think.
No, that's not the kicking team.
Is it?
No. Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
I didn't see him.
Yes, it is. He stuffed Schuler. So this is, for all intents and purposes, an extra point try. But now the Phantoms will call a timeout to give the kicker, Corey Johnson, a little time to think about it. And that can be a lot of time because you've already missed the only extra point try of the night. And now you have a field goal attempt, not in the center of the field, as you would be used to in the distance as far as an extra point is concerned, but you're coming in from a severe angle to the right. The hash marks, that's where the ball is. So a little time for the kicker to think about it. What a game.
Wow.
So it's always
one turnover in the game,
yep.
Which is very good. It's been a game of exceptional plays by exceptional athletes tonight.
And it's a terribly trite cliche, but it is going to be tough for one of these two teams to lose tonight.
Well, and Tim, they will meet each other in the playoffs.
Well, that's
Believe
a possibility.
me, they will meet each other
Here's
in the playoffs.
the field goal attempt. The kick is long enough, and it is right down the middle. Ball was teed up. I believe the ball was teed up on the 14-yard line. In any event, the field goal by Corey Johnson, I believe it was a 24-yarder. If we have it again, let me see if I can get the spot. They didn't waste any time getting up there to do it.
No, we should have had it. Tim, I tell you, a mark of a great team is you make the other team pay on a looks like 14.
No, it's a 19. It's on the 9.
9. You make the other team pay when they made a mistake.
Yep.
They turned the ball over and Hampton went down and scored. 3 points, but don't make any difference. They've taken the lead. And that's a sign of a good team.
And the Phoebus defense, except for that pass play, has just been outstanding. Here they've had 2 virtual goal line stands, and with 2 first and goals, the Crabbers have come up with
2. And
Crabbers come up with 3 points, but it could have been a huge 3 points, as that one was a 58-yard drive, 249, 5 plays, capped by the 19-yard field goal off the foot of Corey Johnson, and the Crabbers lead 9-7. And a huge kick. This will go in and out of the end zone, and there's no wind behind this.
Hey, you want to think that young man isn't pumped up a little bit? Corey Johnson?
You bet he is. Woo! I mean,
and he just is junior.
And there's no 30-mile-an-hour wind behind that kick. That one was all leg.
I think he is pumped up.
All right, well, it's plenty of time. 6:38 each team now, with just 1 timeout remaining. But the Phantoms need at least a field goal to regain the lead. 80 yards away. They've had superb play from Elan Lewis. They've had superb play by Ward tonight. And it'll take a superb effort against this tough Hampton defense. On the draw play. And Lewis picks up a couple of yards. Might have gotten to about the 23.5. So it'll be 2nd down and a long 6. No panic. No need to start throwing the ball downfield or anything. They've just on the delay handoff. And Lewis stacked up by, as they say, a host of Hampton Crabbers. Clock moving as we approach 6 minutes.
This has been a game both sides. Can't say that it hasn't been well played. The fans have got to.
The slant. Oh, nice job of getting away from a tackler and enough for a first down at the 34-yard line.
And is that Hill?
That is Lester James.
Oh, number 4. I'm sorry.
Yep. Lester James, a senior, 5'11", 170 on the slant play. Watch this now. Ward, who's just impressed me tonight. I'm terribly impressed with this young man. And that was a great job by Lester James to break the tackle and get all the way out to the 34-yard line. Someone's burning some wood, Bob. You smell it?
I can smell it.
Smells like a nice fireplace on a cool evening in October. This is Lewis, the horse. And Lewis picks up a yard, maybe 2.
But they are hard to come by. I tell you, the Crabbers, even though they've got 7 people going both ways, are not tiring at all in this fourth quarter. In fact, when you score like that and you take the lead, your adrenaline, you don't even know that if you've had some knocks and little aches and pains, they're not there now.
Well, these are 17, 18-year-old kids, too. You know, you and I'd be winded by now. These guys are playing on all kinds of adrenaline at this point. 2nd down and 8. Ward, play action fake to Lewis. Throws, got a man open. Oh, right through his hands. Dustin Johnson wide open and the ball thrown right there. We can harmonize that.
That was an echo in there.
But that ball was rifled, too, as young Ward really put some mustard on that, and it went right through his hands, and you'll see that at every level of football. So now it's 3rd down and 8. Getting to be crucial down time. 4:48 on the clock with it stopped on the out-of-bounds incomplete pass. I formation. Ward wants to pass. He's sacked. Coming from the right side on a beautiful defensive play. Whoa. Right, just blew right past the blocking. That's Jezreel Davis. So now the Phantoms have to punt the ball. 4:26 and the clock is moving. I say they have to punt it. I think that's what they're going to do. They are on the field with the punt team. The punter, Jamar Whitaker. And they're taking an awful lot of time off this clock. 4:10 and moving. Whitaker's kick is right up, straight up in the air. Takes a Phoebus bounce to their benefit. Right to midfield and across by 1 yard. But, and again, tough call. The kick went straight up in the air and a good bounce to their benefit.
I tell you, both these teams, they're pumped. They both played well.
Well, the fans are pumped, as you can see in your picture.
Fans are, they're hollering for bad things when the other team does what you expect them to. But I mean, that was like one of my shots went off the tee. I hit
no.
These
like
300-yard drives were 150 up, 150 down.
I know. I have something like that to go 50 yards up and nowhere. Come right back down. Foul ball. All right. Hampton now with a 2-point lead and the ball at midfield. This is Schuler, and Schuler breaks the tackle and cuts away from a tackler and gets a first down.
Whoa! Where was he? I thought he was stopped by 3 players. What a nice run by Andre Schuler.
Watch this replay. He is stacked up at the line of scrimmage, breaks out of the tackle, does a nice job of cutting back, and picks up a first down at the 39-yard line. Gain of 12 on the play. And as importantly, the clock is moving. Only 1 timeout remaining for each team. 3:33 on the scoreboard. Hampton 9, Phoebus 7. Flag down on the play.
And it was a motion and from the Crabbers. One guy never got set, I don't think.
3 penalty flags, so it was well determined by the officials. Illegal shift. There you see the scoreboard and the time. Hampton 9, Phoebus 7. And one of these teams, because of the oddness of the score, you can't even go for a tie here except with a safety.
They refused the penalty and to take the down because he only picked up 1 yard. And I can understand him doing that. A lot of people say, why would he do that? Well, you want to get them off the field, their offense off the field as quick as you can. You give them 1 more down, that's another half a minute or to a minute. Yeah.
In fact, I was watching a pro game the other night, and they were saying the defensive team needed to allow the other team to score. And they said they should just lay down and let them score. Well, to the benefit of the offensive team, they said, no, we'll just take a knee. We don't have to try and score, because if they could score, then they'd have a chance to get the ball back and perhaps be able to score. So the player in your picture suffering apparently from a cramp, and that is Nolan. Todd Nolan, who made that great catch and run for 60 yards moments ago to set up the go-ahead field goal. A 19-yard field goal by Corey Johnson. We have to come up with players of the game. This is going to be really tough, Bob.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough.
Yep.
And I don't know which way to go, so you get to do it.
Oh.
No, we will do it together.
We will do it. We always do. It's always a pleasure to recognize the great effort tonight. This is a game that a lot of key players have been involved in. Roberts throwing for the end zone. Got a man open. Touchdown.
Wide open. Well, that kind of puts the nail in the coffin.
Raymond Holloway in the end zone. Yeah. I know. How many yards? 38-yard pass. Watch this. He threw this right on the mark. Holloway, 38-yard pass as the Crabbers have come up with 2 second-half touchdowns and a field goal to take a 16-7 lead with just 2:56 remaining.
And neither one of these teams have scored by running the ball in.
Which is always the irony here, because the Phantoms averaging over 365 yards a game on the ground, and the Crabbers also averaging better than 200 yards a game on the ground. But that's what happens. The team stops your running attack, so you have to go to the pass. And these 2 quarterbacks have played superbly tonight.
They really have.
Roberts, I'm very impressed with this young man. He suffered a broken leg, as most fans know, and has missed a lot of time. We saw him after the hurricane and after the break, and he was rusty, did not throw well. He didn't throw well early in this game, but the boy sure threw well late in this game.
Yeah, he really has. Second half has been a different contest.
All right, this one fielded by Lewis at the 13. Lewis, who can break a run at any point in time, is finally stopped at the 33-yard line. So the Phantoms now need to get a touchdown, and they need it quickly as they trail by 9 points. You have to have 2 scores. There's just no way to get around it.
They got to score twice.
51 yards, just 2 plays, 1 minute and 1 seconds is all it took Hampton. They got the ball at the 49-yard line, got 1 play for a first down on a great effort by Schuler, excuse me.
Schuler.
And then they threw that big touchdown pass to Holloway. A little confusion in the backfield. Don't want that right now. You have to have it all together. You've got to score and score quickly. Ward, who's played extremely well, throws incomplete, almost picked off. That one was almost grabbed by Schuler, as it was just a little too tall for him and a little too short for the receiver. Yeah. There you see the time remaining. 16-7, Hampton trying to upset the number 1 Phoebus Phantoms. Phantoms have just rolled over their recent opponents, averaging in 2 games over 70 points a game for the last 2 contests. So far, just 7 on the board. Great defensive efforts by both schools. Ward out of the shotgun. Throws, got a man open on the near sideline, and he gets out of bounds to stop the clock. A late hit, but no penalty flag. It was kind of inadvertent, so I guess that's why they let it go. But that's Lester James making the big grab and moving the chains.
he was hit and then held, so he didn't get knocked down. And I think if he'd have got knocked down,
well, watch. Yeah. You're going to see
right
the
here,
other guy
right
come
there.
in and then hit him there, but he held him up.
Right.
Had
If
he
he'd-
fallen down,
they would
have gotten 15.
They
So
would have
that's
added 15
That's
to
the
it.
time when you want to go to the drama class, and you want to say, now, in retrospect, I should have gone, oh, my goodness, and fallen like a sack of potatoes. But it wasn't to be. 48-yard line, still alive. Fresh set of downs, and that stopped the clock with 2:34. Ward steps up in the pocket, throws, and intercepted. And that will just about do it, as that, I believe that's Charles Robinson, number 15.
Number 15.
Yep, and he has come up with the big interception. So the Crabbers take over after the interception. A couple of turnovers here have been costly for the Phantoms. And as you said, Bob, you could not have said it more accurately. Good teams capitalize on mistakes, and Hampton has done just that.
They really have. We're not repeating that, Scotty.
On the keeper, Roberts on a little quarterback draw. But again, the Phantoms now have just one timeout to use, and they'll reserve it at the moment. There you see the scoreboard, the clock moving. And Hampton just about set to upset the #1 ranked Phoebus Phantoms and atone for 3 consecutive losses at the hands of these Phoebus Phantoms. But Bob, I'm like you. Even if it doesn't happen, I sure would like to see these two teams meet again in the playoffs.
Well, I think they will, Tim, because there's only one other undefeated team in Division 5, and that's Indian River.
Well, Woodside, they're undefeated in the district, and this one is Fairleigh, and Fairleigh is down to the 1. So I have to tell you, I think the air has gone out of the Phoebus defense. They just played their hearts out in this game, and knowing that it's pretty much futile at this point, they gave up another big game.
This.
Now this is Fairleigh.
Did a great job right there. I thought he was going to make it in.
Yep. 11 for 93 yards tonight for Mr. Fairleigh. Just a terrific night.
Well, Tim, you want to give the players of the game?
Well, I mean, these are all tough.
Well, you make the choice.
Yeah, thanks.
Well,
No, they really, Schuler, Nolan, Fairleigh, Roberts. I mean, all the offensive players, the defensive players. We haven't given a lot of, specific calls to the defense, but they've clearly played great football, keeping this explosive Phoebus team off the scoreboard. It's just very difficult, but I think we're going to have to go with Nolan here, because his touchdown, or his near touchdown grab, was just so crucial. He broke that tackle and went down there and ultimately set up the field goal. But you got the field goal kicker. He comes up with a big thing. Now you've got a touchdown by Schuler with just 38 seconds remaining. And this game, when the fans who didn't see this game see the score and it's 22 or 23-7, they say, "Oh, well, Hampton dominated."
It had to be closer than that.
It's all been the fourth quarter.
And it is the Crabbers who thought, some people thought, because they were going to go, they had too many people going both ways, would tie out in the fourth quarter. They actually got stronger.
Well, I think there was an awful lot of motivation here. I read in the paper, you probably did too, how someone wrote down on a sheet of paper the previous year's scores.
Yeah.
And hung it in the locker room. Great fodder. When you're a proud team like the Hampton Crabbers, you don't forget things like that. And watch this replay of the touchdown. So Schuler from a yard out puts the exclamation mark on it.
All right, we got the player of the game for the Crabbers, which is going to be
Todd Nolan. But one of a tremendous number. We could have given it to any one of a dozen. And on the other side of the ball, again, tough choice here. Lewis was great. Johnson played super. I'm going with Ward. I'm going with the quarterback, and I think you're going to agree with me. Aaron Ward is our player of the game from the Phoebus Phantoms. That the last drive after the interception. Just a short one there, but no, the 197 yards passing for Hampton, 154 yards rushing. So the Hampton offense came alive in the second half and took it to the Phoebus Phantoms.
As Barbara and Brent Musgrove getting ready to leave, and they both got a
big smile
on their face.
Yeah, Brent, a long-time Hampton fan. Well, now, if it hits the pylon, isn't the pylon inbounds? 8 out of 12, 88 yards, and 1 touchdown for Aaron Ward.
Illegal procedure against the kicking team. Ball replaced on the 35-yard line.
So the big crowd starts to file out here. It'll take a little while, too, as the crowd, a full house, and boy, were they treated to a game.
They really were, Tim. And we were too. What a great contest we got to see tonight.
And an early shower on the sidelines for the coaches. And you have to remember now, 3 consecutive losses like that. There's some players on this Hampton team that had never beaten the Phoebus team. So this was a big night for them. This is Lewis, and Lewis till the end is running like he does always, hard and effectively, as he gets a first down all the way across midfield to the 48-yard line. So Aaron Ward, our Phoebus player of the game, he has played superbly for the Phantoms, as have so many. Steps up in the pocket, just avoided the sack. Ward running, cuts it back, and he is taken down at about the 40-yard line. It'll be short of the first down. And now the Phantoms desperately will take their final timeout, but that is going to be a futile timeout because there are just 12 seconds remaining in the contest, and Hampton, with a 23-7 lead, will upset the number 1 Phoebus Phantoms, if it can be called an upset when these two teams play.
Well, if you looked at the records, you'd say the Phantoms had probably shown more offensive prowess than the Crabbers up to this point. But you can't deny that the Crabbers took advantage of every little mistake that the Phantoms made, and the Phantoms hurt themselves. They shot themselves in the foot with the big the fumble. They went down and kicked a field goal, and they fumbled again. They went down and they score again. Those things.
Interception, but yeah, turnover.
Yeah,
but that goes back to what we talked about. Hampton had committed 13 turnovers to just 4 in the previous 3 games between these two teams. Tonight you got 2 turnovers by the Phantoms, no turnovers by the Crabbers. Right. The Crabbers have played about as perfectly a game as I could imagine that they could play against a tough team like Phoebus. They have really played well. Ward hit just as he throws that Hail Mary pass. It is caught out of bounds with just 5 seconds remaining. So there'll be time for at least one more play as Ward is helped up after being knocked down right near midfield. But the turnover is the big difference. And, Hampton capitalized on it. They got a field goal and a touchdown off of turnovers.
And that's one of the things that Mike Smith and I talked about is you got to hang on to the ball. You can't be given a good team the ball again when you should have it.
So Hampton with a golden opportunity to move up in the state rankings. Of course, those rankings and everything are really of small consequence because it's the power ratings that ultimately decide who you play against.
That's correct.
In the state championship. But that incomplete pass ran out the time, and or did it? Let's see if there's any time remaining.
Well, there was a penalty flag, but if it's offense, that it doesn't make any difference. Defense, they cannot stop.
Right.
You can't end the quarter, half, or end of the game on a defensive foul.
And it was an illegal shift penalty against Phoebus, which was declined because, in fact, the game is over. And the Phoebus Phantoms have suffered the first loss in 32 consecutive games. What an incredible record that was, to win 31 games in a row in the Peninsula District, where you've got, without too much argument, the best teams in the state year in and year out.
And you look at Oh, it's just been a fantastic job. All right, Tim, what do we got coming up?
Well, we're going to tell everybody that tonight's contest was brought to you by Zooms with 14 convenient Peninsula locations to serve you. By Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. And in part by Parklawn Wood Funeral Home, where Nancy Staten is the manager. Well, Bob, we'll be back here again next Friday night as the Bethel Bruins will take on the Kecoughtan Warriors. We hope you'll be here.
I'll be here.
Game time is 7 o'clock.
Will you be here?
I'll be here. All of the remaining games are at 7 p.m. in the Peninsula District for the rest of the season. The final score again is Hampton 23 and Phoebus 7. For Bob Hintz, Bob Killen, and Mike Hauser, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.